Hello everyone, and welcome back. This is the last installment of the Oregon Books haul, and then we're on to Washington books, which there might not be as many, but we'll see. I haven't been to all the bookstores yet, so anyways, let's dive right in. So first up on our list, we have some more plays by Moliere, 17th century French playwright. I don't know what a plench is, but yeah, French. Oh, I can't talk today, and I dropped my glasses. Okay, anyways, he was a French playwright, 17th century. His more famous plays, Tartuffe and The Misanthrope. I think I already have Tartuffe, don't have Misanthrope, but this one's good because it has some of his lesser-known ones. Would-Be Gentleman, Scoundrel, Scapin, The Miser, Love's Best Doctor, and Love's the Best Doctor, and Don Juan. So, yeah, and I really like this old paperback kind of like cardboard, not cardboard, but I don't know, it's soft. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't know, these bindings are nice. Next up, we have something from around the same time period, 17th century, and that is Isaac Walton and Charles Cotton's The Complete Angler. Now, apparently it's one of the most reprinted books in the English language, although I've never heard of it. It's about a guy who kind of writes a guide on how to fish. So, how to make flies, how to reel properly, where you should fish, all these things. I'm not really a big fisherman. Maybe I should get into it. Maybe as I get older, I'll start fishing and golfing. Who knows? But yeah, if you have some sort of weird crossover hobbies with fishing and classics, this book should be number one on your reading list. Anyhow, next up, we've got another book from Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. We have a few books from this guy. Of course, he's most famous for The Little Prince, which is fantastic. I have a few other of his novels as well. A lot of his novels are based on aviation because he himself served as a pilot in World War II in the French Air Force. This one apparently is about a search for a missing pilot somewhere, and it's his first novel, I believe. So, kind of a good thing to add to the collection. Pretty short, but I'm not sure when I'll get to it. Next up, we have some Aldous Huxley. Now, Huxley was pretty prolific, I think 40 or 50 novels, so kind of hard to collect everything he's written. This one is Ape and Essence, kind of a cool cover on there, kind of Dionysian, demonic-looking ape on the front. Anyhow, Huxley was very interested in the progression, or rather degeneration of society over time. Of course, his most famous book being Brave New World, which kind of predicts this dystopian future. And then he went back and wrote Brave New World Revisited, which was kind of making some changes to his initial predictions. And then he wrote The Island, which is a utopian futuristic novel. And then he wrote this one, which is a third dystopian novel. It's set after a futuristic World War III, and it's sort of a mutually assured destruction, poison gas, nukes sort of scenario. So yeah, I'm not sure again when I'll get to this one, but kind of a good one to add to the collection as well. Next up, this is kind of an impulse buy, but I think it was only $1, and that is Jack Finney's Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Originally published as just The Body Snatchers. This was made into a movie, I think 4 different times. Super famous horror, sort of, core horror movie. The idea is that these seeds float down from space that turn into these plant pods that turn into people that are perfect duplicates with all their memories. Everything's the exact same, but these duplicates don't have emotion. And they only die after 5 years and they can't reproduce. So it kind of is like a doomsday scenario, and this guy is trying to figure out how to stop the body snatchers, I guess. Yeah, kind of a cool thing to add to the sci-fi library. Jack Finney himself, American writer. I think he was kind of a one-trick pony, hard to, after the fame that this book achieved, it's kind of hard to top that. He had one other novel that was sort of more popular. I think it was called Time and Again, kind of a time travel sci-fi into the past. But yeah, have you heard of Time and Again? Probably not, but you have heard of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. So, hey, if any writer can at least have one book that gets this famous, I think they'd be pretty happy. So, next up, we've got some C.S. Lewis. This is a bit more of a deep cut. We've got The Dark Tower and Other Stories. This is a compilation of some of his shorter fiction. I think it has some sci-fi fantasy in it, short stories, of course. And so if you enjoyed his space trilogy or Narnia, maybe this is a logical next step for you. Not sure I have too much more to say about it, but yeah. Next up, we have sort of an interesting piece of history here, and that is Thomas Malthus's An Essay on the Principle of Population. Now, this, I think this is mid-18th century, or maybe closer to the end of the 18th century, and this guy is an economist, working in England, and I'm not super huge on like the population control stuff. I think it's like anti-human and like anti-natalist, but it was like a concern on, I mean, it's a concern on a lot of people's minds nowadays too, with like the like ecology movements and people like wanting to thinking humans are like viruses on the earth, which is very sad. Anyways, this guy is very famous. This is a very influential essay at the time, and he coined like the idea of the Malthusian model, which is like a mathematical modeling principle. He also coined the idea of the Malthusian trap, which is the idea that if a society produces abundant material goods, they'll use it for, or subconsciously, I guess, use it for growing the population and not for maintaining high standards of living, which I'm not sure. I mean, Thomas's model, of course, was an epic failure because he didn't account for technological change, which we can produce a lot more food now. So his predictions on population growth didn't come true, but nonetheless, we can't really make fun of him too much. Okay, this is a very influential essay, and he was directionally correct, at least. Yeah, interesting stuff. Okay, next up, I regret to inform you that I have bought a Book Talk book. Mostly I buy classics and sci-fi, you know this, but I did get a decent deal on this. I think it was $7. And that is the extra thick 2666 by, Robert Bolano, with the accent on the end there. Very beautiful cover, actually. I do like the design. And this guy is a Chilean writer. I'm not sure if he had any other really famous books or not, but this was published a year after he died, 2004, so it's a posthumous novel, and it's absolutely massive, okay? I think it's, like, the original publication was 1,100 pages. This edition is 900, and apparently it's about the murder of a bunch of young girls in Mexico, which is kind of creepy. Apparently the book, deals heavily with violence and stuff like that, as you would expect. I think it also includes a elusive writer trope, which I think a lot of modern authors, or I don't want to make fun of this guy, but you know, sometimes if you have nothing better to write about, you write about what you know. And so a lot of authors, especially at the beginning of their career, maybe include this elusive, obscure author trope, because, you know, it's them. So yes, one of the characters is an elusive author. But anyways, lastly but not leastly, I did find something pretty special. I'm not sure how rare this is, but I've never seen it before. And that is a compendium of Swedenborg's theological writings. Now, this is kind of a deep cut. Swedenborg was a influential kind of esoteric Christian around the same time as Moliere and the Complete Angler, okay? So like mid-17th century. He was born in Sweden, so he's Swedish. Hard to mistake that with a name like Swedenborg. It's literally in the name, which I think his name actually used to be Swedberg, but it was changed. Anyways, he was a scientist, polymath guy, and then he eventually, kind of near the end of his life, started diving more into theology, and he claimed that all of his theological insights came from like visions that were like revealed to him, which of course every self-proclaimed prophet has sort of the same sort of claim, right? The founder of the Shakers, Mother Ann, claimed the same thing, and of course Joseph Smith claims the same thing too. So maybe difficult to believe necessarily. Some historians actually argue that he got all of his views from Plotinus, who was a Neoplatonist philosopher, which would certainly track. I mean, a lot of Swedenborg's stuff is like Neoplatonist adjacent, at least. So yeah, he had a lot of interesting, odd views about Christianity and about the supernatural. So he definitely was super influential in terms of like occult circles and stuff like that. So he founded the New Church, which is sort of like his brand of Christianity. But he did reject the Trinity, so kind of hard to be a Orthodox Christian if you reject the Trinity. But anyways, yeah, this is like, I have been looking for Swedenborg for quite a while, and actually this same store had 3 other of his volumes in their like complete edition, but they were like, I think like $30 each, and like I'm not about to drop 90 US on like a bunch of like small books, so I couldn't quite do it. But this one was only 20, I think, for like a compendium, and yeah, so I can't really complain too much about that. But yeah, I was happy to find this. Anyways, that's all for Oregon books, but don't worry, the road trip's not over. I got Washington to go yet. So yeah, hopefully it goes well, and thank you, as always, for watching, and I'll see you next time.